Right, a video on using up the gnocchi that I cooked the other day and anything else that I've got around the house that needs using up. I've got some onions which I've sliced and cooked. I've got some parsley which I've chopped, which is in the garden, so therefore that's free. I've got some beef ragu, which is which I've had around for a while, so I'm going to use that up. Always got feta cheese, well, Greek salad cheese in the house because it's cheap and tasty and adds a nice bit of acidity to things. I've got some wild garlic pesto, which needs using up. I found some spots of mould on the top of it the other day, so that needs using up. I'm just going to scoop if I find any more bits of mould, I'll just scoop them off. It's going to get cooked in them, so it'll kill any kind of bacteria. I've got some cheap bought stuff, pesto, which I'm going to use up. I've got some, just made a quick white sauce. I have made a video on that, it's on the page, and just made it kind of quite thin. And then I've got some leftover breadcrumbs, well, croutons, which I fried in olive oil, which I always kind of have in the cupboard because I just think they're kind of quite a useful thing to have, and they're also kind of quite a tasty treat. I've also got some pecorino, which I've generally got out like a hard cheese, very great on top of things in the cupboard. Anyway, so I'm going to do it like a pasta bake. I'm going to combine the meat, the onions, the parsley, and the gnocchi. I'm going to put and some of the breadcrumbs, all that together. And then I'm going to do that as one layer, and then put a layer of the Greek cheese and some pesto on top of that, and then put on the second layer of the meaty gnocchi onion mix, and I'm going to top it off with the white sauce and the pecorino cheese. So it'll be a bit like a pasta bake type of thing, because I do tend to like that type of thing, and certainly something that I can put in the oven and then go out and leave it for an hour and a half and even cooking. I'll go out and do something else, and then come home and have it ready for when I come back is spot on for me. So, do you need to see me put it all together? Probably yes. So we'll move some things out of the way. That out of the way. That out of the way. Those out of the way for now. So we will mix it in the pan, so we can save a bit of washing up. And we'll have a look at the beef ragu. It might just need a little bit of shredding, just if there's any big lumps of meat, but I don't think it, maybe we'll see. I left the onions kind of quite wet. I didn't dry them out too much. I didn't fry them, and so they started going golden, so there's still a bit of moisture in there, so that'll be fine. That beef looks okay, so we will, that's kind of quite solid, and the gnocchi's kind of quite soft. So what I'll do is combine all this together first, so the gnocchi doesn't break up too much, and then we can kind of judge how many breadcrumbs to kind of put in. So it's a bit warm. This is where everything goes everywhere. And also, if I do it in the pan, what I can do is I can divide it in two, so I know how much to put on each layer. And there we go, going everywhere, of course, which is annoying because I'll have to clear it up. So that's getting a bit combined. So I'm going to judge that, so we'll put in that many breadcrumbs. I think they're going to just add a nice bit of crunch. I like the Mazzamoro Sicilian bread pudding, savoury bread pudding. I was thinking the other day, that was actually quite a nice thing to do. And then there's other dishes around the world like panzanella, which use up breadcrumbs and things, and I think that the idea of a crunchy breadcrumb, that's a bit of extra texture, I think it's a nice thing. So that, a few more, so make sure there's plenty. Right. So, I don't think that gnocchi's going to break up too much when I put it in. Probably will actually. I won't add them. No, it's just going to break the gnocchi up. What I'll do is add that back in there. We'll divide this in, flatten it down, divide in two, so we know we've got, it's going to be an equal layer on each, and I will put half in there, more out there. Okay. So like that, and then I think what we'll do is we'll mix the cheese with the gnocchi. That'll work, and then we'll put the pesto on top. So cheese there. Different size bits, some big bits, some small bits. The idea of different kind of textures will be lovely. In fact, I think I'll mix the pesto in with that rather than dotting it about. No, I'll dot it about. I think dotting it about is going to be a bit more interesting. So some bits you'll have a nice big bit of pesto and a nice big bit of cheese, and others not so much. And you want that variety of every kind of flavour wants to, every kind of mouthful wants to be a different kind of taste and texture and flavour type of thing in different ratios, and then it's interesting rather than just one flavour and one texture all the way through. I think that's all right. So quick wash of the hands, and then pesto time. So I'm more bothered about wasting the wild garlic pesto because it was I've got to go and pick it and I've got to go and make it, so it's certainly a lot more precious than the pesto I bought from the shop. So there's only a little bit in here, that's fine. I'll do a better job getting it out now. Right, so there, dot about there, there, there. Good. Like that. And then meaty oniony mixture on top. Make sure that most things get covered. As much out of the pan as possible so we don't waste anything. I was thinking you don't actually need to put the gnocchi in. You could use pasta, make it like a proper pasta bake, or just with the breadcrumbs. The croutons would be nice. So that's that. And we want white sauce over the top, like that. Spatula to get as much out as possible. And flatten it down, and then we'll give it a bit of a bang as well, I think. Just to kind of give it a bit of roll. That's that, and then cheese on top. So, oh no, before I get it out. So that there. Not so much pecorino because there's already a layer of cheese in there. But I do like a crusty top to something. Get rid of that. Enough, we'll see. And then this is going to go in the oven, and I'm just going to go in a little bit longer because I'm going to go out, and so it's going to be ready for the time I come home. Otherwise, I reckon an hour and 10 minutes on 180, something like that. I think that'd be a good time. But I'm going to put it in I'm going to put it in about 100, 120, and it'll be in for an hour and a half. But that'd be lovely by the time I come home, and ready to eat. And leftovers for the next day as well. Leftovers from leftovers from leftovers. It goes on and on and on. So that's it for now. We'll come back when it's cooked. There we go, straight out the oven. Doesn't that look good? Mind you, most things with bubbly melted cheese on the top of them do look good in my opinion. So I will, that's the view from the top. So what I'll do is I'll move the camera and I'll cut a piece out and then we'll show you a view from the side. But it's basically like a pasta bake with leftover gnocchi and whatever I've had around the house. If I didn't have the meat ragu in the jar, I would have just used a normal pasta sauce and used a bit of bacon or ham or chorizo or something like that, just something meaty, or maybe miss the meat out and put extra vegetables in. It's going to be nice anyway. Alright, yeah, as always, if you've got cheese on top of things, it's always just best to snip it with some scissors, and then the first portion doesn't get all the cheese, unless you're going to give yourself the first portion, and then I don't think it really matters. And there we go, nice soft meat, lots of different layers, bits of pesto there, you see the gnocchi just there, the nice crust on top. That will be absolutely delicious. I don't know what you describe it as. It's kind of a pasta bake. It's like a bit of a hot pot type of thing. I don't really know how to kind of class it, but it is. It's just something nice to have, and it's a good way of using leftovers. If you've got like a bit of gnocchi, it would have worked fine. If I just had some leftover potatoes, it would have worked. But a few vegetables, a little bit of meat, and then put some onions in and a bit of cheese, nice sauce on top, and bake it in the oven. And it's just a way of using up little odds and ends that you've got around the house. Something that I do on a regular basis, just to use food up and have something nice for my tea. But there we go. That's it. I'll enjoy that, and I'll try and put a recipe together and pint and kind of say what kind of quantities I used of what.